See if it still cuts phone book paper. All right, struggling just a little bit. Let's grab a strop and see if we can get this thing back to cutting paper real quick. And by the way, this is the factory edge. Does really good. And let me wrap this up real quick. First things first, sanitize. This is 91% alcohol. Make sure you get it in the cut. You'll know when it gets inside the cut. I always keep Band-Aids close by because I do a lot of sharpening, a lot of cut testing, a lot of cutting, a lot of nice stuff. So you always want to have first aid handy. This is not a bad cut. I don't know why it's bleeding so bad. I guess it might just be the spot that I got, but yeah, it's not anything that needs stitches or anything. And if it did, I would just super glue it. And I also keep super glue handy, but we're not gonna need it. But you just wanna make sure you definitely get that cut cleaned out first before you wrap it up. That should be good. All right, I think that's good. Let's grab a strop. This is 9 micron gunny juice on basswood. All right, give it another try. Beautiful. So still perfectly functional. I mean, I didn't cut up a ton of cardboard, but enough to you know, put some use on it. It's not the amount of cardboard, it's the amount of cuts. And every little cut, you know, that's more wear on the edge. And I do that to maximize, you know, the effects with less material. Kind of speeds up the process of testing out these things. But I think I'm gonna leave that just like that. I don't even want to clean the blade. That looks badass. Savage. All right, let's get into the review. What's up guys, Sean here, and this is the Spyderco Manix 2 XL full review. This is a badass knife and it is still currently available. I will link this down in the description below for you guys to pick up if you're interested through my Amazon affiliate link, which costs no additional money for you. However, it will give me a small commission, which I use to put back into the channel and helps me to be able to do all of this stuff and share it with you guys. So that is greatly appreciated. Start off with what I'm carrying today, and that's going to be quick and simple because it is this guy right here, the Spyderco Manix 2 XL, all blacked out, and my Spyderco KAPARA, another excellent knife which I have a review. All the grading is done, I just need to record it, and yeah, really excited for this. This is an amazing knife right here, and so is the Manix 2 XL. You know, this is not a knife that I would have bought because I owned the regular Manix 2 and it was okay, and then I upgraded it. I got the Flytanium carbon fiber scales, I got the titanium ball cage, I got anodized titanium hardware and a milled anodized titanium clip. Had it all decked out and still just wasn't in love with it. But for some reason, this XL really does it for me. And this is just the stock configuration besides the Lynch Northwest clip, which I love Lynch Northwest titanium deep carry clips. I have them on most of my Spydercos. And yeah, so besides that, just a little bit of blood stains on the blade. This is the limited edition Blades and Fades, but no, in all seriousness, this is the standard production version, which comes in CPM S30V blade steel, which Spyderco does very well. And this is a DLC coated blade and black G10 handle scales. This does have full liners, and it's a very strong, robust, beefy, solid knife. You know, probably pretty close to having a fixed blade, honestly. I mean, this thing is very, very strong. And alright, so let's get into the categories. I always say I'm going to try to keep it a little bit shorter than the previous review, and somehow I always end up over 30 minutes. I guess I just like going into detail and, you know, talking to you guys. So here's what it is. But first category, we have ergonomics. The ergonomics get a 5 out of 5. Really great. There are no hot spots. I really like how you have all these kind of cutouts that indicate where your fingers should land, and it gives you a really nice locked in, comfortable feel. I really like how on Spydercos a lot of them sweep up here, so what you could call a thumb ramp, with some nice not too aggressive jimping. I mean, it is very aggressive, but it doesn't feel sharp. They do probably the best jimping out of any company I know. And then you have this lower finger choil, so you can choke up on it like that and do more detailed precise cutting. then you can also get a full grip back here, still comfortably land on that thumb ramp, and you're still locked in because the back of the handle on this kind of swoops up, and that really keeps you nice and locked in. Really comfortable. Really like it. No hot spots. 5 out of 5. The clip. The factory clips that come on these are just fine, but I would recommend definitely getting the Lynch Northwest deep carry clip for it. And even with the deep carry clip, you're still going to have some handle sticking up out of your pocket, but it will be a little bit more reasonable amount. You won't have a ton sticking up out of your pocket. No, matter of fact, let me see if I can show you. So here's my pocket. See, just that little bit gives you just enough to grab onto. In and out pocket, nice and easy. So works really good with the Lynch clip. However, the Spyderco factory spoon clips, they do work just fine, and I give the clip a a 5 out of 5 because they do their job. They are nice and sturdy, no flex, good retention, easy in and out of pocket. I just happen to prefer the Lynch Northwest deep carry clips since they are available for these. So moving on to the carry. Carry gets a 5 out of 5. There's not many instances where you can get a knife as big and beefy as this with a probably 4-inch cutting blade in your pocket and be comfortable and not really have it bother you at all. You could go for a run, do whatever, and this thing is not going to bother you. I don't know how, but Spyderco is really good with that, and I still have a good amount of room left over in my pocket. So yeah, really can't complain. Matter of fact, since I have this swivel up, see, get my hand all the way down in my pocket with this massive knife. So carry 5 out of 5. This knife really surprised me in a lot of areas, and that is why I haven't stopped carrying this since I got it. And I got this knife from Jared at Neve's Knives on his 100,000 plus subscriber giveaway. So another big shout out to Jared. He is an excellent friend and the best knife content creator on YouTube. So make sure you guys are checking him out if you haven't already. Moving on, for the action, which I'm not skipping this category. Almost skipped at the last 3 reviews. Action gets a 5 out of 5. We do not have a detent because it is a ball lock assembly. It's pretty much a spring resistance, which would feel similar to a Benchmade Axis lock or a Hogue Able lock, or even the Demco the Demco Shark lock, or Scorpion lock, or even a lockback. It all is very similar. Little bit easier to fling out there than a lockback, but it is it's really good. Now, I'm a fan of detents, not a big fan of the spring tension kind of deal, but with the size of this blade and everything, the weight of it, it just works well. Doesn't bother me at all. And I also like the ball bearing lock on this better than I did on the regular standard Manix 2. It's still more, it takes more spring tension. You have to pull back harder than you do for an Axis lock or a Hogue Able lock, but you know that it is secure and that's not going to easily get knocked back, and I don't have an issue pulling it back. And when you do, the blade drops right down, very smooth. We have 0 blade play in any direction, so nice and rock solid. Really like the action on this one. Moving on, for the hardware, we get a 5 out of 5. Spyderco uses the same hardware sizes on 99.9% of their knives. You have T10 pivot screw, T8 for the scale screws or handle screws, and you have 3 T6s for the clip. You know, I'm not a big fan of T6s, but I have yet to ruin a set of Spyderco screws. You know, as long as you have good TORX drivers like the WIHA Soft Touch, which I always recommend, always linked in the description, you're not going to have an issue. And for the aesthetic, we get a 4.5 out of 5. You know, this knife looks good. I like it. It looks kind of aggressive, badass. Funny story, I was mailing some knives back to their owners the other day, like the Spartan Heresy. I had to mail that back to Scotch and Things, Steve, and I had to ship back a knife that I sharpened. It was the GAYLE Bradley 2, and I ended up having to switch over to a different box when I was up, you know, checking out, and I just whipped this out without even thinking, and you know, hurried up and started cutting, and I could have swore the guy behind the counter looked like he might have had a heart attack, or might have needed to change his drawers afterwards. He couldn't even get the words out quick enough. He was stuttering on his words as he tried to hand me a little box cutter, and I'm just like, no, it's okay, I'm good. He's like, if you get hurt, blah 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 something, we'll be liable. He was panicking. So it's a big knife, probably not the ideal knife to whip out in public or when you are at the register at the post office, but you know, for that same reason, it's also kind of cool and badass. So moving on to the price. So for price, perfect 5 out of 5. This knife sells for $205, or that is at least the current price, and for that, I think this is worth every freaking penny, hands down, without a question. If I happen to lose this knife, I would 100% feel the need to replace it and spend that money without really feeling bad about it. I mean, this is an amazing knife, and $205, 100% worth it for the capabilities and the quality and everything that you get with this. You know, this is a knife that will last you a lifetime if you take care of it. For the fit and finish, we get a 5 out of 5. Spyderco is really good with their quality control, and they have the CQI program, which means quality control improvement or constant quality improvement, and they are constantly doing little things to make sure that they're bringing you the highest quality products at all times. You know, this is something that Rick Hinder might want to take notes on, because this is how you keep your customers happy, and this is just, it's the right thing to do. Don't you, if you have a stellar product, don't you want it to, you know, stay on the up and up as things progress and other knife companies are coming out with, and you know, with better performing knives and new innovations and stuff? Don't you want to stay ahead of the times? You know, you have to be able to keep up with the times, I guess. So Spyderco does really good with that. The acoustics, we get a 4 out of 5. I do like the kind of click. It's not a metal or metallic sound, just like a little pop. But yeah, I like it. So 4 out of 5. For the lockup, 5 out of 5. The ball bearing lock is an excellent lock. Very solid lockup. This ball lock does not really ever have any type of lock stick. I've never experienced any lock stick with a Spyderco ball bearing lock. Lock bar access, obviously 5 out of 5 because it's right there. You don't even have to put your finger across the blade path. Keep your fingers out of the way and open and close all day, no problem. Factory edge, perfect 5 out of 5. This is still the factory edge, and as you can see, it still does work. It is still very sharp. Even, you know, I cut with it before today's video, and even after the cardboard cutting, and it still sliced my thumb right away. So that means that it is definitely still sharp because my fingers and my thumbs are pretty tough. So it has to be pretty sharp to cut like that. And yeah, and to be able to just strop it back real quick and easily cut through the phone book paper. Very, very good. It's good for the blade steel, the heat treat, and the edge. Spyderco really does this right. They sharpen their knives at a lower angle than pretty much any other knife company out there. They sharpen at anywhere from 14 to 17 degrees per side from the factory, and that gives you very nice cutting performance. And I think, well, according to my experiences, my beliefs, and also Dr. Laren Thomas's research, the lower your edge angle, the higher your edge retention. Now that's not going to be higher your edge toughness, but for simple EDC cutting tasks, anything that's not, you know, really abusing the knife, you know, say if it was the only thing you were cutting is cardboard, the lower the angle, the higher the wear resistance for your edge. So you're going to get better edge retention. You're going to be able to cut for a lot longer. And I think that is due to simple physics and the fact that at a lower angle, it is thinner and it is less resistance. So with less resistance, you're going to get less friction, and that equivalates to less wear. So it makes sense to me. For the blade, perfect 5 out of 5. You get good cutting edge. You get a nice finger choil here. Spyderco's DLC coating is very tough, and after a lot of use, once it starts to get marked up like that, you can take a magic eraser with some mineral oil and just go lightly in little circles, and it will bring it back like brand new. Yeah, good stuff. Their heat treat's good. S30V blade steel is very good. And you know, the Spidey hole for deployment. We have a nice tall flat grind, good blade geometry. You have a nice long distance for it to taper down and get thinner behind the edge, so it's not like a, you know, creating a wedge that's going to be tough to push through materials, yet it is still a nice robust blade. I mean, you really get the best of all worlds when it comes to this. And the thumb ramp on the back of the spine wins all around. So 5 out of 5 for the edge, 5 out of 5 for the blade, 5 out of 5 for the handle, which I explained in the ergo category why the handle is so damn good. For centering, perfect 5 out of 5. Spyderco is really good with their centering. It is pretty uncommon to get a Spyderco that is not perfectly centered. Now, I have experienced it before. It is rare, but it is possible. But there has never been a Spyderco that came off centered that I was not able to easily fix. So 5 out of 5 for centering. For cutting, this gets a 4.5 out of 5. It cuts very well, especially for the robustness of this blade. And you know, Spyderco kind of tried to do an all-in-one with this. They want it to be tough, but they still want it to cut good. So you know, when you try to do everything in all-in-one, you're gonna be making sacrifices in certain areas. So you're gonna either sacrifice some toughness for the sliciness, or you are going to sacrifice some of your cutting performance to have a little bit of a stronger blade. So it's all give and takes. You can't have it all, you know, all around the, you know what I mean. But this is pretty much as close as you can get to having it all in one. For materials, 5 out of 5. You have, you know, premium blade steel. It's G10 handles, which is not necessarily premium. You know what? We'll give it a 4 out of 5 because yes, it's not an exotic material for the handle, but everything they do is very, very nice quality, and I have absolutely no issues with this knife as it comes from the factory. I think it is just fine, and I believe the materials are definitely high quality, and you know, it's built to last. So then moving on to the fidget factor. Fidget factor is a 5 out of 5. Just like an axis lock, you can just whip the blade back and forth like this. It's also very enjoyable deploying it. The Spidey flick is very enjoyable. I can do it with no wrist. And then if you add a little bit of wrist, you know, that's how I usually end up doing it. But you can do it without any wrist. Very fun to very fun to fidget with. And for the design, it gets a perfect 5 out of 5. For basically should be self-explanatory for all the reasons I've already mentioned. And the last category, value, gave it a perfect 5 out of 5. I think you are really getting your money's worth when it comes to this. It is worth every penny out of that $205. You are getting a truly hard use capable, high performance, ergonomic, it's just an excellent knife all around. So perfect 5 out of 5 on that. And that brings us to a total score of 96 points. Was 97.5, but I dropped the acoustics from 4.5 to 4, and I dropped the materials from 5 down to 4. So now the new total is 96 out of 100, which is still extremely high, and I definitely recommend checking out this knife if you haven't already. Excellent, excellent knife. Once again, big thank you to Jared. I really appreciate this and everything you do. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you all are having a great day. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next one. But if you like what I do here, please hit the thumbs up, share it with your friends, and most importantly, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you liked and disliked, and leaving a comment also helps with the algorithm and helps this get shared out to more people. So I can't do this without you guys. And yeah, so I love you guys. Peace.